Hey everyone, welcome back to the Tres Jolie channel. I am here getting ready to work on my third project this month using November's mixed media kit. So another quick overview: stencil, decorative paper, the Lucky Clover and the Crackling Campfire distress paints, and my bottle from my stash that I wanted to finish up before opening a new one, and the tube of the charcoal black matte wax is what was in the kit, but I already had a tin in my stash and I want to use that up before opening a new container. So that's where I'm at right now. I still have all my mediums and I'm getting ready to, now I don't know how this will work, but I have this embroidery hoop. Well, it's for afterwards, not for while you're working on it, but it would have been used for your finished project if it was one of those decor hoops. And that's just like that. And I have this piece of old screen. Now this is aluminum screening, not the nylon or fiberglass. It is aluminum, and we had to replace it because the cats managed to pop it out. The cats are literally the reason we have it, but you can see they like to climb it. Anyhow, I am getting ready to see how well I can get this in here. I don't know how it'll work. I've been wanting to put aluminum or the screening into an embroidery hoop for a while now. So let's see if I can get this in here. I may need an extra set of hands for this. Alright, as you saw, I did have to get some extra hands in here. It wanted to keep rolling up, and it's not, I don't know if you can really, there, see, it's not perfectly tight. I don't think it's going to get pulled tight. It's not going to work the same way as fabric, but that's okay. I can still work with what I have here, but I do want to make sure that it's not going to try to unroll on me. So what I am going to do is grab up some freezer paper, and make sure I have enough to cover it. There we go. Because what I'm going to do right now is, well, you can't see, but I'm clearing off over here because I am going to put in some E6000 all around in here, nice and thick, and then I'm going to turn it over onto this freezer paper so that I'll be able to peel it off. And then I'm going to weigh this down until that E6000 dries before I come back and try to trim these edges. Maybe. I don't want it popping out while it's short. I guess that's what I should say. We'll try it. Maybe I won't. Well, that worked. Now, for the record, I have been informed that these are actually right-handed tin snips. but for my purposes, they worked fine for me being left-handed. I didn't need to be as precise as... I didn't really need to be that precise, I guess, as if you were using them in construction or whatever. But they worked fine. I didn't know if that aluminum would affect, nick any of my scissors blades. So I kind of stole those. But it did work, and I'm going to glue these down now, turn this over, weigh it down, and let this E6000 set up. Okay, well, my hoop is drying. I'm going to work on what I want to do as the back. And this is my third project, and I've still only used one sheet of that paper. But I'm going to go focus right now on this bigger section that I have left. And to make it more stable, this is just some printable transparency sheets. And I'm just going to grab one out. It's not super thick, but the way I'm going to be working with it, I'm really hoping it will come out the way I plan. Let me just tear off here. There we go. Because I'm also going to use some gel, just some matte gel, to adhere to my paper. And I think I'm going to put the paper down and brush the gel on it, and then add that to it. Alright, and now I'm going to leave this to dry as well. I don't really want to use heat on these transparencies. I don't think it would work very well, and I really don't want to risk it. So now I'm just going to let everything dry, and then I'll be back. This isn't completely dry, but it's dry enough that I can kind of move along. And this is a second hoop, same size as the first one, and I'm just going to use it as my outline, so I can kind of get a good idea of, there we go, of what my area is to work on. And so I'm just going to trace it along the outside edge. Like so. That way I can see what I have and work on my placement for my stenciling. So I'm just going to now grab up the stencil from the kit and use some gloss super heavy gel and just add a bit of stenciling around in here. you can see the difference there. I had used the matte gel for the paper, and then I did that stenciling in that gloss. So now that this is put together, it's not completely dry, but I'm going to work on my next part anyhow. There's only some spots that are still showing white, and they'll dry along with everything else. It is dry enough to touch, so that should work out. So I'm just going to kind of spray some water, and then I'm going to drop on some of the crackling campfire around here. Add more water. Use a brush just to start spreading it about. Just like that. And then use my heat gun. Now I have to do it carefully so it doesn't warp the plastic. So it's going to have to be in constant movement, no sitting in one area too long. But I'm going to use it to get this paint dry. Now with that crackling campfire dry, I'm just going to add just a little bit of the Lucky Clover on here. See if I have any left really in my bottle. There we go. And water that down as well, and kind of spread it about. Over that crackling campfire in here. My E6000 is dry, and it's still pokey along the edges, so I'm going to be careful until I get everything how I'm wanting it. But I do want to paint some gesso, some black gesso around the edge, and I'm not going to be overly careful. I don't care if it gets a little bit onto the edge of the screen, but I'm just going to coat along the inside and all the outside with some of this gesso. You can see my gessoed screen and hoop here, and I just have it set off to the side, and I want to just kind of talk about my leaves. I used the Tim Holtz skeleton leaves dies on just some smooth white cardstock that I had in my stash. There, just cut them out. It was only 1/8 8 by 11 inch paper worth, just as many as I could get. And then I decided I wanted to coat them in the vintage gold metallic wax. Now, a tin of this came in January 2020's mixed media kit. So if you had that kit, hopefully you have some of your wax left. I had considered using a metallic paper, but I kind of really like how the wax goes on, so that's why I just did some heavy cardstock and the wax. And I did do both sides in the wax, and I used a brush because I can hold the leaf flat better and not tear it. I mean, if you don't mind washing off your dyes, or you'd probably end up with white edges, you could coat your paper first if you were going to use wax, but I didn't want to try to get wax off of those dyes or have white edges showing, so I did it this way. And so you can see, real quick, real simple here, how those leaves come together. Okay, you can kind of see where this is going. None of this is attached yet. I really just wanted to use it for that butterfly placement there. So I'm going to take all of these off and pick this up and kind of move these butterflies just a little bit further out, like so. And then I'm just going to grab up some super heavy gel to put those butterflies down. And so I'm going to bring this over and just set this aside. This right here is a silicone mat I have ready for putting everything together when it gets to that point. But what I really want to do is first I'm going to take my heat gun and finish drying this gesso. Okay, and now just to show you, I'm going to move this back where it can be seen. And I'm going to add some heavy gel along the back here, and then gently place it on top of that circle, this background circle, and then hold it in place. I'll put some weight on top of it to hold it in place until it's dry. Okay, the back's not dry. It's been it's basically rained all week, so it's very humid and it's cooled down, so it's taking longer to dry than normal, but I don't want to keep waiting for that. So I'm just gonna work on my front now It's dry enough that it should be okay to work with. And I wanted to mention the butterflies. Those are from Renee Bouquets. I don't know specifically which ones offhand, but I'll have them listed on the blog. And now I want to work on adding my flowers and those leaves I had made up. And so I'm gonna first, these flowers here that are a little shiny, a little bit darker, they used to be white flowers. And I have notes here. The flowers had came in the September 2018 mixed media kit, and I had sprayed them, and I had done these up a while ago, I just didn't use them all, and I had sprayed them with some Gossamer Gold Lindy's Gain, which was from the December 19 mixed media kit. So there's those, and then these over here I had used part of the pack, and I'm gonna finish it off now, but they were from the March 2020 scrapbooking kit, and those are some 49 and market flowers. So that's what I'm gonna do. I'm gonna use up some flowers, stick these leaves in, and just kind of work on arranging them here using the gel again to hold everything in place. I still can't move this around, but I'm just going to grab a brush, a soft brush, once I find which one I want. There, a soft brush, and I'm going to kind of lightly add some of that vintage gold wax just along oh, let me see if I can't kind of show you what I'm headed towards with that light brushing. There, you can see I'm just catching the top of it some there, just to add a little bit more a shine to this. You can see I just used it just enough to highlight a little bit here and there. And now, and I think this is going to be for my final touch here. I have this vintage gold glitter glass glitter, and it was from the April 2020 mixed media kit, and I'm going to really very lightly use brush on. I'm going to brush on some gloss gel and then sprinkle on some of this glass glitter. once I can move this and pick it up, I'll shake off this excess, and I should be done by then. There's a lot more on here than there is gel, I think. And so it's not going to be this heavy after I get done shaking it off. But I can't really move anything right now. I could pick it up if my back had been all the way dry, but I really don't want to risk it right now. So it's just going to be a wait and see game now. Alright, everything is set and dry. I shook off my excess glitter, and my project is now complete. I was able to use the papers and the stenciling and the paints for that background piece. I used the matte wax along the edge here, some vintage gold wax and glitter and flowers that were from previous Tres Jolie kits are on here, and then a few items from my stash like the dies and the cardstock to make those flowers and these butterflies and the hoop, which I've had for a while now. But it's all done now, and I'm really happy with how it came out. So I hope you enjoyed this project and it gave you some ideas of what can be done with the items found in this month's mixed media kit. Don't forget to subscribe to the channel and turn on notifications so you can see other videos of other projects by me or other designers. And as always, at the beginning of the month, there will be a reveal video that shows all of the kits. Thank you, and I will see you again soon.